Hello, amazing people. I am so glad you decided to join me for today's video. We are going to jump right into it. Being brave enough to take a risk. What does risk stand for? Yes, R, receive. I, say it with me, incline. S, seek. K, keep. Oh, it's kind of hard to read. Keep first things first. Keep the main thing the main thing. When we're offended, we often get off track. And getting off track means we need to get back on track. And there's a progression, there are steps that we have to take to get back on track to find our center in the relationship. Now, when we are used to seeing conflicts resolved a certain way, we may feel like we don't have any other ways to solve the conflict. When we have options for how we've seen conflicts resolved or transformed, we have a little more tools. In this video, I want to share with you the role of wisdom in transforming conflict, the role of wisdom in overcoming offense. Because if you are accustomed to resolving conflicts in a certain way, be it generationally, societally, culturally, emotionally, somatically, whatever you're accustomed to doing, you may default to that. But I want to offer you another set of tools and insights to accompany you in this process. So I want you to bring to mind someone who has offended you in any way. And don't hold them and to that space where you're remembering them, and don't allow yourself to be physically affected so much to where you can't even function, but just bring them to mind and rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how offended you were by their words, actions, behaviors. Okay, now if you are no longer in a relationship or friendship with this person, you can still do this activity. But if you are thinking about how to move forward with this person, this activity can help you. So rate it 10, I'm about to cut them off, or 10, I really don't know what to do with this person. And then 1 being, it was fine, I'm not even offended, I know that's part of who they are and it doesn't bother me, I'm just gonna keep going with the flow. Now rate it. Okay, then I want you to ask yourself, do you want any part of this relationship to change? Whether it's frequency of communication, quality of communication, what you talk about, in your conversation, assess this, okay? So you're rating the last time they offended you. Do you want to keep going in this dynamic? And what do you want to change if you keep going in this dynamic? Okay, so now you're at a good place to consider the information I'm about to give you. And this is coming from Proverbs chapter 2, okay? And I just want to bring this back to our mind so we'll know where we're starting from. Proverbs chapter 2, verse 1, and I'm going to read up to verse 6, okay? My son, if you receive my words and treasure my commands within you, so that you incline your ear to wisdom and apply your heart to understanding. Yes, if you cry out for discernment and lift up your voice for understanding, if you seek her as silver and search for her as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. Now, this is really, really powerful, because sometimes when we are in the moment of discomfort, conflict, offense, whatever it is, we will step back so we can get a better perspective of what the person is saying, or we may lean in, we may pull our chair up, and you have to be mindful of where you feel that in your body, okay? Take a deep breath. You're probably feeling something right now where it's just like, ooh, that was a lot. I felt that in my body, and I felt that with you, so I had to take a deep breath. Now, when you're in that space, I want you to relax your shoulders, okay? And what I've learned to do is hold my hands open on my palms, because I'm like, if this person gives me any type of feedback, I want to bring this to God so that I don't think I need to figure it out on my own or figure it out with this person. That's a tool that I use, just hands open to God. God, what do you want to say to me? You know, is this from you or is this from somewhere else? You know, and then you only receive what he's giving you. You don't receive anything else. And if someone says something to you that doesn't quite resonate, or maybe it is true, but you're not ready to hear that yet, do pray and ask God to reveal to you what the Spirit wants you to know about you. Okay? God, what do you want me to know about me? Because I heard this from this person today and I don't know how to deal with it. Okay? That's a really important question. Now, when we talk about the role of wisdom, there's a certain knowledge, mindset, skill set, tool set that the world gives us for resolving problems, and oftentimes around the world is violence, you know, and it could be physical violence, it could be spiritual violence, it could be emotional violence, it could be institutional violence, but we use these different types of violence to get things done, and it's not necessarily the best way forward. Now, I say not necessarily because sometimes you do have to use violence, and, you know, that's the way of the world, okay? And I'm not going to get into, you know, theological implications for why violence is used and all of that. What I'm going to get into is where we can find wisdom in the situation, okay? So I want to take us to Proverbs chapter 8, verse 22. Through 31. This is really exciting, so go to it. I'm reading from the New King James, and we're going to talk about wisdom, the role of wisdom in learning how to love, relearning how to love, so we can overcome offense. The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I have been established from everlasting, from the beginning. Before there was ever an earth, when there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills, I was brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, or the fields, or the primal dust of the world. Oh, I lost my spot. Hold on, I'm about to find it. Okay. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. And when he drew a circle on the face of the deep, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the mountains of the deep, when he assigned to the sea its limits, so that the waters would not transgress his command, when he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I was beside him as a master craftsman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in his inhabited world, and my delight was in the sons of men. That is so exciting. You're probably like, Ashley, why is that so exciting? I'm going to take you to John chapter 1, verse 1. Okay? Let me get there. One second. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made. So before everything we see, everything we've ever seen was formed, even what we've never seen, and what has changed and transformed across the ages, thousands of years, millions of years. Before it was formed, wisdom was with God. Chapter 8, verse 30, back to Proverbs. When I was beside him as a master craftsman, then, I'm so excited, I keep messing up. Then I was beside him as a master craftsman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him. You have to love wisdom. You have to love wisdom. Love the Most High the most, and love wisdom. Why? Because it says here, then I was beside him as a master craftsman, and I was daily his delight. What does it say of Jesus? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made. So Jesus is the Word in the flesh, the Word made flesh, and wisdom, walking wisdom, living wisdom. And if you are in him, he is in you. And in that relationship, there is mutuality, there is interdependence, we depend on him, and he depends on us. So I'm using you in this situation. I'm sitting in you in this situation. And you've got to make him your delight. Make wisdom your delight. Because it says here, I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him. I was his delight, and I was rejoicing before him. So when we talk about loving wisdom, when we talk about loving God, when we talk about loving Jesus, we've got to, the only way that people can know that is through our love for them. Even when you're offended. How, Ashley, what did you just say? You gotta love people when you're offended? How do you do that? The Lord possessed me at the beginning before his works of old. I was established from everlasting, from the beginning, before there was ever an earth. The relationship that you are in, the friendship, the dynamic that you're in, it has created an earth, a world between you and that person. But you got to go back to your place of wisdom, and you've got to put a space between you and the situation. It's like you got to get into some type of satellite or some type of spiritual thing where you can zoom out of that world and look at it from a bird's eye view. Okay? And that's going to help you to operate with a wise mind and a clear mind. Not wise in a facetious way and you know everything. No. Truly a mind full of wisdom. Because there's riches there and there's security there. Just read Proverbs. There's so much richness and security and wisdom, and we call our way the best way, and it's not, because you've received from your environment and you think you have the answer, and you don't. That's why you have to step back, okay? When you feel your body responding a certain way, having a visceral reaction to what's being said, know who's holding you in that moment. Know who has you in that moment. Between the inhale and the exhale, he has you. He has you. If you need to get up so you can be excused, you have that authority. You have that authority. And then you say, what is the wisdom that you want to reveal to me in this situation? That's the question, because the dynamic between you and that person has created an earth. It has created a planet, a world between you and that person. Stay with me. It's creating an environment between you and that person. But you've got to go back to that place where God, what God possessed before all of that was made. Well, how do you do that? In your breathing, in your stepping back. In being held by him, and being held by Mother God. You have to receive from the mother and father aspects of God. Okay? If you seek her, if you seek her as silver, here we go, if you seek. But you gotta make a commitment that God's way is better than your way, and you're going to incline your ear to wisdom. And you're gonna step back from the environment, even in just that moment, say, you know what, let me think about this. You've given me a lot to consider. Let's put this conversation on pause just for a moment, because I want to process what's being said, and I value this relationship with you. I value you. Here's another one. I want to know where you're coming from. I want us to build our relationship, build our opportunity to keep getting to know each other. I value this relationship more than I value being right. And right now, I can't hear clearly. Right now, I can't speak clearly. So let's come back to this. You can do that. You can do that. You don't have to power your way through a conflict or offense to reach a resolution right then and there. You got to take a break. And when you delight in wisdom, see, it says here in Proverbs chapter 8, verse 30, it's written, and I was his delight. So wisdom knew that God delighted in wisdom. And then wisdom rejoiced before him. You can be in that place. This is more profound if you take a moment to consider what I'm saying to you. God has something special for you. I'm not going to tell you because I don't know. I'm not one of those people who say, if you send me this, I'll give you the word of God for your life. No. We don't play like that. But God has something for you in this moment. And if you incline your ear, just like you will lean in when you can't hear what somebody's saying, I want you to do that with the Most High. What is it that you want me to say? What is it that you want me to hear? What are you revealing right now? What are you revealing right now? Just listen as you take a break from trying to figure it out. Just listen. Nowhere in the word does it say, figure it out. It says, follow me. I hope that today's content is able to help you consider the way of wisdom in overcoming offense. Okay? This is not an easy topic, and I could spend probably 2 or 3 times the amount of time, but I want to keep these videos at around 20 minutes or less so that you can take it in. Okay, brain-based learning. You can't take in that much information at once and think you're going to get everything all at once. God's got something for you. Want you to receive it. I bless you. I want the best for you, and I'll see you again soon.